Hi and welcome to the Econ Experiment. In this video, we will look at what is the budget line and how it rotates or shifts. The budget line is something that you map on the XY plane. But what is the intuition behind the budget line? It comes from the budget constraint. And the constraint is set upon the consumer by his income, let's call that M, and the prices of the two goods. So if you're representing something on the XY plane, we usually, this is the X-axis, this is the Y-axis, and we assume that it is a two-good economy. So good 1 on the X-axis, good 2 on the Y-axis. So the price here then in the constraint would be price of the good 1 and price of good 2. Let's call that P1 and P2 respectively. So the budget constraint is represented on the XY plane with the help of a budget line. So how do you write a budget constraint? Well, budget constraint represents your total expenditure that you can undertake given your income. So your total expenditure on good X on X1, let's call the first good X1, the other good X2. So your total expenditure on good X1 can be less than or equal to your income, and same is true for the second good. And how do you write that in the constraint? It is P1 X1, this is the expenditure on good 1, plus P2 X2, this is the expenditure on good 2, should be equal to M or can be less than M. But for simplification purposes, there's an assumption that we usually take in economics, which is that the consumer spends all of his income. So this is why we get this specification. And if you want to understand this with a numerical example, let's say that M or the income is 100, X1 and X2 are the two goods in our economy, and the price of X1 is 2, the price of X2 is say 10. So the budget constraint then becomes 2X1 plus 10X2 equals 100. Okay. So let's carry this example further, this numerical example, and then with the help of this we will see how we can understand the rotations and shifts in the budget line. So if this is our budget constraint, let's first plot this line on the XY axis. So a typical procedure in which you begin is first you find the intercepts, then you try to understand what the slope is. This is important for intuitive understanding. Of course, you won't actually take a scale and graph this particular slope, but it is important to see how rotations take place. Anyway, so the first point is to understand the intercept. So intercepts represent the position where only one of the good is consumed and 0 of another. So if I assume X-axis represents X1 and Y-axis represents X2, then if I consume only X1 and none of X2, this means I can get 50 of X1. So we plot that. Now if I say that I consume only X2 and none of X1, then I know I can get 10 X2. There we have it. So now we're done with the intercept. But what about the slope? So the slope is actually nothing but because we know that a budget line is negatively sloped, so we say that since it has a negative slope, it will come with a minus sign. And then it's really just the price of the first good upon the price of the second good. And why does this make sense? We'll get to in a minute. But from here, let's see what the slope is going to be. So the price of the first good is 2. The price of the second good is 10. So the slope becomes 1/5. And let's assume you actually draw this line with a 1/5 slope. Like I said, it's not actually necessary to have it. Actually sketch it, but it's important for intuitive understanding. So now that we know this is the slope minus P1 by P2, what does the slope mean? So the slope really represents the opportunity cost of consuming X1 or whatever the good is on the X-axis. So let's see how this actually makes sense. At this point, let's call it A, you're only consuming X2. And when you're only consuming X2, your bundle looks something like this: 0 of X1 and 10 of X2. But let us suppose that you are somewhere down here. Okay. And what you want at this point, you're consuming 5 units of X1. Well, if you're consuming 5 units of X1, what does this equation become? It becomes 2 into 5 plus 2x2 into 100. This becomes 90 and this becomes 9. So if you're at a point B where you increase your consumption of x1 by 5 units, you need to forego your consumption of x2 by 1 unit and you come down to 9. This is what the slope really represents. So if you wanted to consume 1 more unit of x1, you would have to give up 1/5 unit of x2, which is why when you want to consume 5 units of x1, you have to give up 1 unit of x2. It actually is the opportunity cost. So as we move down further and further, that is when we keep on increasing our consumption of x1, we have to reduce our consumption of x2, and this reduction is represented by the slope. And why the slope? Because it is the slope or the prices that determine that after consuming a certain quantity of one commodity, how much can I still buy of another. Because here we are assuming that the income is unchanged, the prices are unchanged, the quantities are changing. And to determine if I change this quantity by 1 unit, how much of this will change, it only depends upon the prices. And this is why the slope of the budget line is the price of the first good by the price of the second good, and intuitively this is the opportunity cost of consuming good x1. So I hope we're clear with this concept. Okay, so now let's look at how shifts and rotations take place. So rotations in the budget line happen when only price of one commodity changes. And we know that the slope of the budget line is really the price of x1 by x2. So if there is change in either of the prices, this ratio will change. And if the ratio changes, what this means is that the line will either rotate outwards or inwards. So when does the line rotate inward? Well, it rotates inwards when the price of the commodity increases, and outwards when it falls. And why is that? Because imagine, we are talking about the intercept, right? Here, from the previous example, you had m is 100 and p1 was 2. So you could consume 50 of x1. But what if p1 increased from 2 to 5? Well, in that case, you can only consume 20 of it. And the intercept shifts inwards. So when the intercept shifts inwards, the line rotates inwards. Which is why when there is a rise in price, the budget line rotates inwards, and when there is a fall in price, the budget line rotates outwards. And that is true for the good on the y-axis as well. So how the way it will look like would be something like this. If this is the initial line, shifts inwards when price increases and shifts outwards when price falls. Okay, so this is the concept of rotations. Now, what happens in shifts? Well, shifts happen when the income changes. So this means that now the consumer can buy more of both goods or less of both goods depending upon what change happened to the income. If the income rises, then given same prices, the consumer can buy more of both goods. And therefore, if this was the initial intercepts, now the intercepts move outwards and therefore the budget line shifts upwards. This happens with increase in income. And if the income falls, and assuming the same prices, this means that the consumer can buy less of both. And so the intercepts shift inward, and therefore the budget line shifts downwards. This is the decrease in income. So this was how the budget lines rotate and shift, and we'll wrap up this video here. If there are any more topics that you would like videos on, do let me know.